Falling through a shadow portal feels exactly like being swallowed by a python, tight, suffocating, and terrifyingly muscular. We were spit out onto cold concrete, tumbling over one another in a tangle of limbs. We were in a subway tunnel, damp and dark, lit only by the distant service lights. The air smelled of rust and standing water. I scrambled away from him, clutching my slow cooker, miraculously unbroken like a lifeline. "You kidnapped me." Cassian stood up, brushing invisible dust from his impeccable coat. He looked unruffled, while I felt like I'd been put through a blender. "I rescued you," he corrected, his tone dripping with aristocratic disdain, though I'm beginning to question the value of the asset. "Asset?" I snapped, standing up on shaky legs. "I'm a person, and you broke my door. The obsidian circle just tried to liquefy your lungs, and you're worried about your security deposit." He stepped closer, towering over me. The magic radiance coming off him was intense, a cold pressure that made the hair on my arms stand up. "Do you have any idea what you've created? That spare change is pure, uncorrupted soul energy. To a black hat, you are an infinite battery." "I just wanted to fix my car," I muttered, feeling small under his gaze. "Primitive," he scoffed. "You wield power you don't understand, untrained and reckless. You're a child playing with a loaded gun in a crowded room." "At least I built the gun myself," I retorted, chin high. "I didn't have some fancy academy hand it to me." His jaw tightened. For a second I thought he might strike me or bind me with those shadow tendrils again. Instead, he grabbed my wrist. His skin was cool, his fingers long and strong. "We need to move. The circle can track the residue of the portal. We aren't safe here." He dragged me deeper into the tunnel. We walked in silence for 10 minutes, the tension between us thick enough to cut. I watched his back, broad shoulders, the rigid posture of a soldier or a king. He was infuriatingly handsome, which only made me hate him more. "Where are we going?" I asked eventually. "A safe house, an old ossuary beneath the city," he replied without looking back. Suddenly the tunnel shook. A low, guttural roar echoed from the darkness behind us. It didn't sound like a train. It sounded like something dead that was very, very angry. Cassian spun around, releasing my wrist. He pulled a silver dagger from inside his coat. "They summoned a flesh hulk, damn it." "They what?" "A construct of stitched corpses, big, stupid, hard to kill." He looked at me, his gray eyes assessing. "Can you fight?" "I have a slow cooker and some pepper spray." "Stay behind me." The beast rounded the bend. It was massive, a hulking mound of gray, necrotic flesh that filled the tunnel, scraping against the ceiling. It roared, spraying putrid fluid. Cassian didn't flinch. He raised his hand, chanting in a language that sounded like cracking bone. A wall of translucent white bone erupted from the ground, blocking the tunnel. The monster slammed into it. The bone wall cracked. "It's too strong," Cassian gritted out, sweat beading on his brow. He was straining, his hands trembling as he poured energy into the barrier. "I used too much power on the portal. I'm running dry." The monster hit the wall again. A large chunk of the barrier fell away. Cassian turned to look at me, desperation cracking his stoic mask. "Vance, the motes, I need them." "You want to eat my rent money?" "If I don't absorb that energy, we are both dead in 30 seconds. The wall splintered again. A massive, rotting hand reached through, clawing at the air inches from Cassian's face. I looked at the glowing pellets in my pot, then at Cassian, whose knees were buckling. "Fine," I screamed. I grabbed a mote. It was warm, vibrating with life. "How do I give it to you?" I yelled. Cassian turned, his eyes burning with a dark, hungry intensity. "Direct contact. The energy is volatile. You have to feed it to me." The wall shattered.
Want to keep the flame ignited without having to wait for the next part? You can find the full, tantalizing tale on our main page. See the link in the description.